Hey everybody, it's Bobby N, and today we're going to be talking about Freak Force #1. So, I've never read a Freak Force comic until last night. So, yesterday I went to my comic book store and I bought a literal shit ton of comics for like $20. Because I have another, thing I'm going to add on here. They have these specials. They have a dollar comic bin, and you can get three for $1. And I end up, just grabbing a shit ton of stuff. Stuff I've never read, stuff I had never seen before, anything that might look interesting. This time I actually picked up a shit ton of Malibu comics because I've never seen anybody review any, and I've never read any. So I was like, this time I'm gonna try that out, see what it's like. But this was my first time reading Freak Force, which is weird considering that I am a huge Eric Larson fan. And I was reading Savage Dragon, and I was completely loyal to Savage Dragon. And I've been reading Savage Dragon since the day it came out. Okay. Um, Now I did fall off at a point because I said before, my house burned down. I lost all those issues. I started getting the Savage Dragon archives, so I'm up to date on the archives and not many of the newer, single issues that came out. I have seen a lot of stuff on YouTube about what he does now with that. But I hadn't personally read it or collected those at the time. So it was weird to me that, with me being such a big Eric Larson fan and Savage Dragon fan, that I didn't, you know, read these other ones. And then as I open this up, I see that Eric Larson uh, wrote the script, um, but Keith Giffen did the storytelling. I don't I don't know what that means. And that's a thing. Like I've seen some videos where people talk about Eric Larson's scripting or his dialogue. I have never personally had any kind of issue with Savage Dragon's dialogue or anything like that. I always thought it was well written. I always thought it was action packed. I like the pacing and the progression and everything that goes on with his stories. I did not get that out of this. This did not feel like it was written by Eric Larson or even Keith Giffen, in my opinion. Like a lot of the dialogue in this just did not do great. Now, not only that, I'm only familiar with Freak Force from the Savage Dragon books. So I know that Eric Larson brought out, different titles. Like he had the Mighty Man series and he had Vanguard, which I also have now. And Freak Force, he brought out a Dart mini series, I believe. There was a whole bunch of stuff. I never kept up with any of those. So when this story starts, we have like all of Freak Force here living with some woman I don't know. Uh, I don't recall seeing her in any Savage Dragon books or anything like that, but she's basically sharing her apartment with them, and it's not working out. Um, because they have barbaric, they're drawing attention to her apartment and everything. Nobody's staying secrets or whatever, and it's also overcrowded and people are having a hard time going to the bathroom when they want to and things like that. So they've decided that they need to find a way to get out, and apparently Dart contacted someone and received a bounty for some supervillain. So they're going to go get him, and he's a supervillain who basically goes after oil rigs and things like that, anything that's causing pollution, right? He's like an eco-terrorist, okay? So they go after him, and he has the ability to take any pollutant and turn it into anything he wants. That's a strange power, but okay, it's what it is, right? What is classified as a pollutant? Is it, I mean, we know what pollutes and everything, but, you know, there's just certain things that I would think would be debatable or whatever, or just in the way that it's used or something like that as to whether or not it would be a real, pollutant or something. but whatever, it's okay. So this is him, and I don't even know what his name is here. Okay, he's a eco-terrorist. They're going to get $250,000 for bringing him in, and again, I'm not seeing his name anywhere. Okay, but he knows who Mighty Man is when Mighty Man shows up, and he punches Mighty Man and has him fly into one of these factory towers or whatever. And Dart thinks that that's perfect because that's going to bring this eco-terrorist out from the fire, because he was he was blowing this place up, and Freak Force wouldn't be able to get near him without getting hurt themselves. So they had Mighty Man bring him out, or at least that's supposed to be the plan. So each person takes their shot. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but we're suffering the same thing that we generally see whenever there's a team, is that no one acts like a team. So I don't know. I think it would be a good thing once in a while if we could get a team that actually acted like a team. Maybe that's boring. Maybe that's why nobody does it. I don't know. But there's always a lot of bickering and complaining and everything going on during the fight. And then that bickering gets people hurt or whatever because they were yelling at somebody else instead of paying attention to what they should have been paying attention to. It's things like that. So, but anyway, in the end, they do take this guy out without really causing much damage to themselves or to this oil refinery, which was already damaged due to the eco-terrorist. But that's basically all that we have going on here. Is just a fight between Freak Force and this eco-terrorist guy whose name again escapes me. I'm not even sure they gave him a name because I've read this several times now and I just don't remember it. But as you can see, when he's knocked out, the armor he was wearing starts to dissipate because that was made of the pollutants. He was turning the pollutants into some kind of body armor or whatever. And after being knocked out, he's unconscious, so I guess he can't control that anymore. Now they are complaining about how badly they did as a team, even though they did bring the bad guy down. So you'll always have some people who, like Dart. Dart is, is a leader. Dart is a strong, leader type role, and is trying to train everybody else and takes it very seriously, whereas everybody else is like, hey, we got the job done. Like, we didn't have to be perfect. But Dart knows in the end that could get somebody killed, things like that. So that's what we're getting. And then we cut back to, again, this woman who's, her name is Phyllis. I don't know who Phyllis is. I don't recall seeing Phyllis again in any Savage Dragon books or anything like that. Her outfits are incredibly weird. Like, what is she wearing here? Because this is pure 80s right here. So it's very wild to me. But yeah, so apparently with that $250,000 they received for that bounty, they were able to purchase someplace that they made into Freak Force headquarters and labeled it as such for people to easily find them. I don't know. That could be what that is. I'm going to read more Freak Force and find out. But basically, that was it. Mighty Man just kind of fills Phyllis in on everything that took place. And that is the end of the issue. So I have to say, it didn't do much for me. I expected more, especially if like Erik Larsen was the writer. I like Erik Larsen's writing. I've always enjoyed it. Like, we all know when Erik Larsen took over writing on the Adjectiveless Spider-Man, that it was like, oh, this was fucking awesome. He was doing all this great stuff. It was action-packed, right? Filled with dialogue. Yes, he had too much story to throw into this, right? It was insane, but, it was cool. Everybody liked it. Same thing with Savage Dragon. It's endless action. It always has something, some cool topic or story or whatever going on, at least in my opinion. But with this, we weren't getting that. It was a first issue, but it's a continuation from everything that these characters have been doing through 4 other titles, possibly. Because again, I really don't know who Phyllis is and why she was involved with this. I don't recall seeing that again in any of the Savage Dragon stuff. So I have to say, if I was, if it was back in the 90s and I bought this, I probably would have stopped reading it. Because I never got it to begin with. It never interested me because I looked at the artwork here, which is not bad. The artwork here is definitely decent, right? It gets the job done. It's not my favorite artwork that I've seen. This person tends to draw, I'm going to say like Greg Land, where they take the hips away from a woman and just make them, I don't know, very weird shape there or whatever. But, to each their own or whatever. Like I said, the artwork isn't terrible, but it was not something I would have looked at in the 90s and been like, okay, I'm going to buy this and get into it. So that's it. That's the review for Freak Force number 1. If you like this review, please hit like. I'm a comic book artist trying to get his name out there, and every like helps. If you'd like to see more, hit subscribe. I generally bring a new video out every day. So until next time, see ya.